Welcome to Teacher Talks. I'm Maria Keffler.
And I'm Erin Brewer. And what's our topic today, Maria?
Today we're going to talk about FERPA, the Federal Education Rights and Protection Act. And I'm going to turn it over to you because I think you've got a little bit more background and experience with this.
Well, one of the things that I'm seeing over and over again is that administrators and teachers and other policymakers are using FERPA as a way to hide information from parents about their children. Now, if the children are in college, or over the age of majority, over 18, then that's reasonable. But FERPA was designed to protect children's information, not from the parents, but from other peers, from other adults, from other parents. It originally, I think, came out because teachers would routinely release information about kids. I remember when I was a kid, when we all took tests, we'd go to the chalkboard and the scores would be all listed with our names and our scores on them. That's the kind of thing that FERPA now protects. They don't want other kids to know what you got on your test.
I think also, I'm sorry, also, isn't it a protection so that schools cannot sell kids information? They can't sell addresses, phone numbers, and so forth to marketers or to third parties.
And that's an important protection too. Even if I walked into my child's school and said, oh, my son and Jimmy are planning on playing together, can you give me his address? I forgot it. They're not going to give that to me because they want to protect that information. All of those are very reasonable protections. Of course, we don't want our children's information sold to marketers. We don't want it necessarily published in a directory unless we give permission. We don't want their grades posted publicly. These are all kinds of information that it is very reasonable to protect, and that's why FERPA came out. FERPA does not, however, suggest that you can hide information from parents. Just the opposite is true. It specifically says that the personal information is available to the parents. So that's something that the parents do have access to, that teachers aren't supposed to be hiding information from parents. So the fact that administrators and activists and policymakers are pretending that FERPA somehow protects children against having their transgender identity revealed to parents, or protects teachers who are hiding that information from parents, is a complete misrepresentation of what this regulation was founded on. It's founded on that protecting the parents and the children from the release of information. And it treats them as a unit, not as adversaries, not as people that we're going to, hide information from about each other.
Well, there's a lawsuit that's happening in Wisconsin that I'm familiar with, where parents are suing the school for hiding information about their children. And the lawyer in that case, Luke Berg, I know you've spoken with him, found out how this is happening, how school systems are getting around FERPA. And they're doing it by telling teachers to put this information about kids' gender status into their personal notes, because their personal notes are protected from parents seeing that. And I think that's really sketchy, and I think that's problematic. And I'm not a lawyer, but I suspect that's not going to hold up in court, that teachers are allowed to hide things like that, because FERPA does protect parents and kids' rights. Parents have the right to know everything that's going on at school about their children. So I want to encourage teachers, if your administrators are telling you that it's okay for you to do that, or you should do that, I think you need to be very careful, because I think that's going to get some people into trouble.
And I also think it's important for parents, because so many parents hear, oh, we can't share that because of FERPA, and they don't understand the regulation. And a lot of teachers probably don't either. There's a lot to keep track of, and there's a lot of nuance to it. And so I think that administrators and activists are just throwing FERPA out and assuming that people will say, oh, okay, it's FERPA protected. And we all want to make sure that we adhere to FERPA protections, because those are important protections. And they're completely misusing it. And I even see when they're proposing policies to school districts now, oftentimes they just have FERPA in there, sort of like, we have to be careful and we have to make sure that we shield student information due to FERPA. And so it's sort of become this key word that they use to sort of make it sound like they have some federal backing behind hiding information. But in fact, that's a misuse of FERPA. And FERPA was explicitly designed to protect children and parents' information, but to create that back and forth of information between parents and children, because parents are the primary caregiver of their children. They're the ones who get to decide important educational decisions.